Hello. I'm gonna be talking about the great director atıf Yılmaz. This is my essay about him, and basically it's also about the era that he lived, Yeşilçam era. So, cinema can include any kind of art form in it, only by being able to manage our sense of hearing and sight simultaneously. Cinema is the art form that provides the fastest way to connect with people and to reach people. And cinema has the ability to introduce us to any culture that exists or has existed on the earth, and it occurs when a director wishes to share his or her views with the rest of the world. So cinema is really a big part of our world. That's where that we can find opportunity to have a glance at the life of the great director atıf Yılmaz. He was born in Mersin, and he was born into a Kurdish family who had migrated from Elazığ's Palu district. His great career came to an end. He lost his life in 2006. His demise was greeted with enormous sadness throughout Turkey. Cosmopolitan life that he had was reflected in his cinema as well. Even in his high school years, they gave him the title of regisseur, means director, even though he had no concerns about being a filmmaker. He was always an artistic person. He especially wanted to be an architect, but he couldn't win the architecture faculty. So Atıf Yılmaz's life is, his director life is about melodrama, like Yeşilçam era, that he had doing the people's wishes. Like he was basically doing whatever the job givers wants, and at some point he wanted to make his own movies, the things that he wants, and that's where the female characters, like female starring characters, begins in his cinema, and that is the most important part of his cinema. So you have to be looking to his melodrama and Yeşilçam at first. So his words about Nihavent Mucize was, people living in this age have become a society that is afraid of long-term relationships and consume quickly. In pursuit of some advantage technology, quick money making, short-term loss in human relations. There is criticism of this in the film. A woman comes from 30, 40 years ago, and this woman changed these people with the values of that period and shows a little of humanity, what love is. She treats her stress from another point of view by removing it. I don't believe in nostalgia, but I don't think the values of today are those that make people very healthy. That's what it seems. The female characters in atıf Yılmaz cinema are the most important part because that's the characteristic of his cinema. He was managed to engrave his name in our cinema history as a director of women films, expressing the social identity of women to the screen with a feminist perspective, especially in the 80s. He states that he had the opportunity to meet with feminists because of his wife, Deniz Türkeli, and that he was in a feminist environment. Before analyzing his cinema, we have to analyze his works. Selvi Boylumal Yazmalım is one of his most well-known works and a masterpiece, and focusing on the question, what is love, with melodrama, and the director's responses to this question can be summarized with the following sentence: love is the effort that you put into anything and overcoming obstacles together. I chose this movie because it also shows the melodrama and Yeşilçam era so well, and it shows the female starring character that like she is free even though she has the pressure on her, she pushes the pressure on her, and she denies, and she does whatever she likes to do. In conclusion, Turkish society has a patriarchal structure. In this society, which is highly dependent on its traditions and customs, women often feel hesitant to express themselves, cannot do what they want to do, and are forced to submit what they are told. Throughout the period he lived in, from the first years of the Republic to the 1980s, and from there to the present, Atufilma struggled to transfer it to the cinema with his films. After working according to the system-oriented market order, she also made films on melodrama, but the most important feature that made him stand out was that she criticized and shows the life patterns of women in Turkish culture.